Hey guys, Hastings here, and welcome to episode 2 of Rapid Racing. If you don't know how this works, I'll put a link to episode 1 in the description, where I'll explain everything. And we're just starting here with a nice picture of the Mustang that I drove last time. To see how that fared, again, click the link in the description down below. Now, first things first, I'm going to need to go into Buy Cars and bring up the filter. Last week I just sort of did this for a bit without looking, and just randomly selecting the class like that. It didn't really work too well, I don't think, because it sort of biased towards maybe A and S that are in the middle. So I've downloaded a randomizer app on my phone, which you can probably hear going off, so I just accidentally shook it. So that's gonna give us a class when it finishes. I'll tell you what it is. It's gonna give us C class. So right, C class. There's the things. Just hover over my app, change, go onto the timer. Timer starting now. Let's go and buy our car. Very tempting first car that they've given us. What's something we haven't actually bought yet? I don't own. You can see the garage symbol symbolising what I do already have. I'm thinking after last week, I kind of want to steer clear of the muscle cars. Honda Prelude. That's a bit random. What else is there? I want to be quite quick choosing my car because it will. I think that's that's a very fast car. I think. What is there? Yeah, I want to be quite quick in choosing my car. So it could be more time to tune it, although I've only got to do up to C class, so I should be okay this time round. I don't know what to go for. I could go for absolutely anything. I don't want to go with something that I know is going to be really quick, because that would be slightly boring. But I don't want to go with something like that, which I think is going to be really slow. I might go for the new Mini. Let's go for one of the new Minis. I've got the old one there. Oh, it'll take nearly a minute already. I'm going to go for that one because it looks awesome and it's slightly quicker standard anyway. I don't care about the colours, I'll paint it during the gap in filming. See, I've used, I'm over a minute in already. So, I've used up a bit more time than when we were doing the Mustang. In quite a few of my videos, I keep saying like last week and next week, when it's actually most series of mine are twice a week. So ignore me when I say that, I just mean next time, or last time, or in the previous episode, or next episode, or that sort of thing. Right, we need to upgrade this. We haven't got a lot of room to play with this time round. So I'm thinking I'm going to have to prioritise. Personally, I like to prioritise handling, just because that's the way I drive really. I'm quite happy with a car that's slower in a straight line. So you're going to go through all of these handling parts, and then I think just go straight for the power. Which is almost contradictory to what I said a minute ago, like literally 10 seconds ago. I was like, I don't mind having a slow car in a straight line, but it is always hard to overtake a car with better acceleration. So, how much? Oh, we can get racing tyres on this thing. I'm thinking we'll just go for soft, sport even. I'm thinking Formula 1 tyres. If we go for the front tyre, width's up one as well, or up two. All right, it's not very much of an increase. Just because they're the ones that are going to be doing the driving and the steering, so we want to give them as good a chance as possible. Do the race clutch, and we'll leave the race transmission because it's not going to have enough power to really warrant it, I don't think. So it should have a... Actually, I don't know. I keep contradicting myself today. Go for a high top speed and quicker shifts. High top speed, quicker shifts, and fully adjustable. I'm just going to leave it. I'll see how it does. It's all experimental in these first few episodes of Rapid Racing. What I was going to do, I could have a look at the aero, I guess. I'll have a look to see if there's any body kits or anything. Nope, just that. Just the standard Forza one. Are we going to have that stupid big wing on the back? Yeah. Well, I'm not putting that on there. I might put the front splitter on. Oh. How does it do? Yeah, why not? Let's go for it. We've got a minute 30 left, which I'm just going to fill out with power. Oh, it's got a turbo. Just stick that on because we don't want to reduce the handling. Let's leave the turbo as it is. Oh, that's not going to work. No. Don't seem to be getting particularly close to 500. Seems to be going like 5 under or 5 over. What else have we got down here? I don't want to piss off the handling too much. Tell you what, that's going to give us 500, so I'm just going to use that. I've got just under a minute left. As I'm already done, I'm going to see if there's anything I can do. Oh, I'm clicking the wrong things here. Tune car. Let's have a look at the gears. Oh, I can't adjust them, can I? Well, I can have a quick look at them. Tyre pressure is fine. I'm really not a particularly good tuner. Our top speed 154. And we can't edit it at all. I think that should be okay for C-Class. I'm not a... like I've just said, I really don't know what I'm doing. I'll lower the ride height because I know that sort of reduces drag a bit. Oh, apparently not. Top speed's gone down. Acceleration's gone up though, from just under to just over. From just over 12 seconds to just under. Front, we'll put in cornering down to 150. Yeah, down a little bit, but worsens the acceleration. That's my timer gone off, so I'm just going to stop doing anything now. Just back straight out. Yes, I want to apply it. Yeah, we made the acceleration slightly better by lowering the springs, and then we made it slightly worse by turning the front aero up. So that's it. That's me build. I'll stick a paint on the car, and then I'll join you in some online lobbies a little bit later on. So I'll see you then.
First race, as you can see, if you know the track, is at the Nürburgring, more specifically the Nordschleife circuit. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's the really long 10-mile one that's the very famous track that Niki Lauda has his very bad accident at, I believe. I could be wrong in that, actually. And the front-wheel drive car, I was expecting to get off to a really bad start, but aside from the very powerful, I'm assuming, Corvette overtaking us, it didn't do too badly. There's a bit of lag and a rolling car, so we sort of nullified the position that we lost. And I'm sort of trying to get used to this car and going very sideways while getting used to it. The main thing that it really lacks is power. It's not terrible in a straight line, but it could do with a bit more. But saying that, as a front-wheel drive car, it has a lot of oversteer, but I think that's more of a trait of the game. As you can see that I'm sort of spinning out there. You can see, surprise, surprise, that I've only actually lost one position in that. There wasn't anybody particularly close behind me. I've just got to try and re-overtake this Nissan. I think it's a 370Z. Might be a 350. I know they look pretty similar. But we get him back pretty easily on the next straight after he messed up his exit with a bit of oversteer. But no, with this car, the lift-off oversteer that you get in pretty much any car was ridiculously overly noticeable. You'd get understeer because it's a front wheel drive car into a corner, and because you're understeering off the track, you get a lift off slightly, and then you get oversteer. So you put the power back on, and then you carry on understeering wide, so it just wobble about. So understeer, oversteer, understeer, oversteer, and it was kind of annoying through some really long corners, and it was relatively difficult to drive as well. But that you can see, but just behind us, the Nissan that we overtook had a little bit of an incident and has been overtaken by this Toyota. I think it's the Toyota GT86, although it is basically identical to the Subaru BRZ, so I'm not sure which one it is. I do think it's Toyota though, but yes, I could be wrong. So as we get up the hill here, you can see that the Toyota is just closing on us and closing on us and closing on us. And it was only really a matter of time before I think he got past us. The rear-wheel drive cars generally are a lot better, and you can see I was struggling with a bit of the understeer into the corner, oversteered out, so I corrected it, and then sort of messed up the corner a bit. And the Toyota got past us. It was quite a boring race actually. I'm going to skip through pretty much most of it because from here on in, we couldn't keep up with the Toyota that's just overtaken us, and there was no one behind to challenge us. So I'll see you for the next race, and yeah, we did finish 5th. I just thought I'd show this bit to sort of emphasise how much of a gap there was between me and the car in front and the car behind. You can see that I'm coming down the straight here, which is practically the end of the lap, and you can see there's no one really in the front of me there, and there's no one really behind me there. I think there's just about a dot of a car in the distance, right in the top left-hand corner of the screen as we change to this view. But that's it. That's how boring my race was. And as I've already said, we're going to just hold on to this position. It'd be kind of hard not to. And finish 5th in the first race. So I just thought I'd show you this, and I might as well finish the lap now. and talk about the car a little more. It's an interesting one to drive. It's unpredictable. I talked about the understeer and the oversteer at the first part of the lap, and you can see there I just get a little bit sideways, and then I've sort of understeered a little bit wide, so I couldn't get the perfect line into the next corner. And then coming around the final corner, it behaved itself and it was perfectly nice. So it was really unpredictable to drive. But that's the first race, and we come home, finish 5th, and AI promptly runs wide, as per usual. So I'll see you for the next race right now. And as you can see, the next race is at the Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. I really hope I've pronounced that correctly. If I haven't, I'm sorry, it's just Spa. And we actually started quite high up on the grid here, again, funnily enough. I think it was 4th or 5th we started in the first race. And the second race, you can see we started 3rd. Quite a gap already around us. I did sort of had a look to go around the outside at the first corner, but it didn't really work, and I sort of got a bit of oversteer, corrected it with a bit of understeer, and went a little bit wide. This car really does like its understeers and oversteers. We're coming down to Eau Rouge, and it's kind of terrifying flying down to Eau Rouge for the first time in a car you've never driven at this circuit before. And I promptly went a little bit sideways, corrected it, and it flicked back across and sort of had to cut the corner a little bit. It's not a bad thing. It may have even been slightly intentional, as most people tend to take that line due to it being a bit quicker. You can't exactly do that in the Formula 1 games, just because it will penalise you. Fortunately in Forza it doesn't quite do that. It will invalidate your lap, but no one really cares about that in online public lobbies. And we're trying to defend from this, I think it's a Mitsubishi Evo 8. I think it's definitely an Evo, I don't know what model it is. But with a 4-wheel drive system, it's just so much more stable than our car, and gets past us at the chicane at the top of the hill. And we're in 4th position now, drop back slightly. And from this screen here, you can see that I've already got a few seconds gap behind me, and that Evo's running off pretty quickly. So it's another race like at Nürburgring. I've kind of got literally nothing to do for the entire race. I think it was 3 laps of Spa. It really liked to give me the long tracks for this lobby. I've run very wide through there. But yeah, the long track, starting out with the 1 lap of Nordschleife, and now just 3 laps of Spa. And you go to a track like sort of like Road Atlanta Club or something, you get about 7 laps, I believe. So it really did like giving us the long tracks, which maybe disadvantaged the Mini slightly. A bit sort of nimble, smaller, tighter circuits may have benefited this car a little bit more. But yeah, I'm going to cut to later in the race, just because there's nothing to do, and I'll catch up with you again immediately. Coming on to the final lap here, and we really haven't had a lot to do for this race. We just pretty much held our position the entire time and had a very, very quiet race. Just trying to sort of keep it on the track, try and learn the car a bit more and get used to its sort of unpredictable nature. Because, like I said, you really can't tell what this car's going to do. Sometimes it'll understeer, sometimes it'll oversteer. Well, you know it's going to oversteer when you lift off, because that's just like every single car does that, and it seems to be worse, in my opinion, in front-wheel drive cars, which is horrible, especially when you combine it with the amount of understeer that you get. And we came home to finish 4th in that race. Finished a lot quicker than I expected it to. And in the final race, we have gone to Laguna Seca, and we've started a bit further down the grid this time. We've got a Honda S2000 CR starting in front of us that didn't start in front of us, if you know what I mean. It just all decided not to pull away from the grid. And again, it's another quite a long circuit. Just 4 laps of this one. So, but it's not the shortest of circuits either. First corner, we got the inside of a Lotus Elan, who promptly gives us a little bit of a tap. And we run wide-ish and sort of come alongside, I think it's a Honda CRX, I think. I'm not sure, I can't tell by the paint job. It's the one that's like got a white with a bit of a stripe and its standard picture on Forza, I think. Anyway, yes, I've gone past him, and it's another Mini. It's the 1965 Mini. I think it's the 65 Mini in this game. I really need to brush up on my knowledge of these cars. But we was chasing him for a while, and he cut through the pack. And at the end of the first lap, we overtake a Volkswagen Golf as he runs wide. That's not the end of this little battle, though. As you can see, there is another car coming up behind the Golf. I think that is a Honda. That's a Honda Civic, that one is. That's a 97 Civic, I recognise that one. As we come onto the long straight, I was expecting to sort of be out-dragged, especially by the Golf. But even though I said at the first race, this car needs more power, it did very well against these two. Anyway, I suppose they might be front-wheel drive or four-wheel drive. The Golf gets it wrong under braking and flies up the inside of us. He's never going to make that corner. And the Civic takes the advantage of the tap that he gave me and cuts up the inside of both of us. And that was the last thing that happened in that race as well. So it was another really boring race from then on. I think we had about a lap and a half of action, maybe 2 laps of action. Final 2 laps. You can see here, there's no one around me. You can see in the distance, yeah, there's a car up there in the distance, but that's about it. There's really not much to say. I think we came home in 5th position again. So we had a 5th, a 4th, and a 5th. And we had 3 very boring races. In terms of the scores, obviously we're going to have 5 points, 4 points, and 5 points, respectively, for the 3 races, finishing 5th, 4th, and 5th. So that's a total of 14 points. I'm going to give this car a 5 for speed, because the size of the lobbies, it obviously dictates where you're going to finish. If there's only 8 people in the lobby, you can't finish 9th, and so on. So I'm going to give it a 5 because it finished very middle. It wasn't particularly quick, but I wasn't being held back by the car as such. In terms of drivability, I'm going to give it a 7, which I think is the same as the Mustang. It really wasn't very nice to drive, just because it was so unpredictable. That gives this car a total score of 26 points, just 1 less than the Mustang, but 1 less nonetheless. So that puts it into 1st position on our leaderboard of 2. Stay tuned next week to see how that next car is going to do. And until then, Hastings out. Goodbye.